Hello, my second and third grade friends. I would like to read a story to you. It's called Tar Beach. It is written by a wonderful African-American artist named Faith Ringgold. And Tar Beach is basically a story about when she was a little girl. And the neat thing about Faith Ringgold's artwork is she does her artwork on quilts. So she tells stories and paints them, and she uses beautiful pieces of fabric and things. Because if you've ever seen a quilt, what is a quilt made out of? Well, traditionally it's made out of leftover fabric pieces sewn together. So our entire book or story is right here on a quilt. But I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. It's about when she was a little girl. Tar Beach. So what do you think Tar Beach is? Well, if you've ever been in the city, on the top of the buildings, like the one that she lived on, they would have tar so that it would be waterproof, and they would go up there and sit out because they didn't live close to beaches. So that was kind of their beach or their outdoor. So Tar Beach. Notice the beautiful pieces of fabric around the border, kind of like what you would see on an actual handmade quilt. And some more beautiful fabric pieces. I will always remember when the stars fell down around me and lifted me up above the George Washington Bridge. I could see our tiny little rooftop with Mommy and Daddy and Mr. and Mrs. Honey, our next door neighbors, still playing cards as if nothing was going on. And BB, my baby brother, he was lying real still on the mattress, just like I told him to. His eyes were like huge floodlights tracking me through the sky. Sleeping on Tar Beach was magical. Lying on the rooftop in the night with stars and skyscraper buildings all around me, that made me feel rich, like I owned all that I could see. The bridge, well, that was my most prized possession. Daddy said that the George Washington Bridge is the longest and most beautiful bridge in the world, and that it opened in 1931 on the very day that I was born. Daddy worked on that bridge hoisting cables, and since then I have always wanted that bridge to be mine. Now I have claimed it. All I had to do was fly over it for it to be mine forever. I can wear it like a giant diamond necklace, or just fly above it and marvel at its sparkling beauty. I can fly, yes, fly! Me, Cassie Louise Lightfoot, only 8 years old and in the 3rd grade, and I can fly. That means I'm free to go wherever I want to for the rest of my life. Daddy took me to see the new Union building that he is working on. Oh. He can walk on steel girders way up in the sky and not fall. That's why they call him the cat. But still, he can't join the union because Grandpa wasn't a member. Well, Daddy is going to own that building because I'm going to fly over it and give it to him. Then it just won't matter that he's not in their old union. Doesn't matter whether he's colored or half-breed Indian like they say. He'll be rich, and he won't have to stand on 24-story high girders and look down. He can look at his building going up. And Mama won't cry all winter when he goes to look for work and doesn't come home. And Mommy can laugh and she can sleep late, just like Mrs. Honey. And we can have ice cream every night for dessert. Yep, next I'm gonna fly over the ice cream factory just to make sure we do. Tonight we're going up to Tar Beach. Mommy is roasting peanuts and frying chicken, and Daddy is bringing home watermelon. Mr. and Mrs. Honey will bring the beer and their old green card table. And then the stars will fall around me, and I will fly to the Union Building. There she goes. I'll take BB with me because he has threatened to tell Mommy and Daddy if I leave him behind. I have told him it's very easy. Anyone can fly. All you need is somewhere to go that you don't get or that you can't get to any other way. And the next thing you know, you're flying among the stars. And there we have it. This is all of the words that you just heard in the story, and this is an actual quilt that she made out of fabric and painted. So she tells her stories, Faith Ringgold does, on quilts. So now I would like you to tell your story. What's a story about you or your family that you want to share and put on your own quilt? Go get a piece of paper, a ruler, a pencil, and some markers, and we'll start one together. Okay, I'm back. I have my paper, pencil, and a ruler. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to make a border around the outside of my paper, because if you remember, in Faith Ringgold's book, she had a border going around the outside edge, because very often when you make a quilt, it has fabric that goes all the way around the outside, kind of like a frame in a nice pretty pattern. So let's make, I'm gonna hold my ruler like this on the very edge and draw a line like that. And then I'm gonna do one going in this direction, like that. I'm gonna put one on this side, like that. And last but not least, I'm gonna put one on this side, right here. Now, if you want to, if you have some fun magazines, magazines that are okay to cut up, make sure you check with Mom or Dad first. You could cut up magazines to find fun patterns like this. If you have old fabric or little pieces of felt, you can put those around the outside edge to be your quilt. Or if you have wallpaper books, sometimes you can do that. If you don't have any of those things, guess what? You can make your own little squares and put your own designs, so that the fabric going around the outside is completely up to you. You can make it the pattern inside these little squares, anything you want. Polka dots, stripes, little flowers, hearts, zigzags, all kinds of cool stuff. And after you have drawn that, then you have to think about, what is your story going to be? What story do you want to tell this? Is this a story about you? Maybe playing soccer, or maybe you at a piano lesson, or maybe it's about your family. So think about, what kind of a story do you want to tell us about your life? Just like Miss Ringgold had done. I started one already. This one is a picture of me sitting with my son around a campfire. It was so cold outside today that I thought, I want to think of a very nice, warm memory. So this is me sitting in the chair. That's Noah. This is our campfire. And then we're outside in our backyard where the pine trees are, and I've drawn a nice sky. So now what I need to do is I just need to start coloring it in. You can color it in with markers. You can color it in with colored pencils, or if you have oil pastels. And like I said, the outside squares that you made, you can decorate those by actually cutting out decorative pieces of paper or fabric and gluing them on, or you can draw the designs. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started on that right now. And I can either make a pattern with my squares, or I can do what's called random. Random means that there is no special pattern, that they're just different designs that I made just for fun. They don't have to be in a certain order. So that first one is striped. Let's see, what's the next one going to do? Perhaps some polka dots. I do like polka dots. And I can also take a Sharpie if I want to and draw a line between my fabric pieces. Then after I get done designing my fabric pieces, then I want to take my markers and my colored pencils and start coloring the design, or the story rather, that I'm making inside of there. Alrighty, so now I have finished my quilt story, which is the fun times that I've had around the campfire with my son Noah. Notice I've made my quilt pattern around the outside edge, and again, you can color that, or you can find pretty decorative paper. Sometimes I even use old wrapping paper and cut out squares and glue it around the outside to make it look like a quilt. So when you are finished making your quilt memory or story, send a picture of it to Mrs. Hawken. I will give you my email address at the end of this video, and you can send it to me, or you can bring it in when we come back to face-to-face learning. Alrighty, well that's all we have for today, friends, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.